Welcome everyone to Borders and Beyond. Obviously, we just had the India-Pakistan match. I just wanted to say thank you very much, Vinny, for coming here and obviously talking to our fans and our subscribers. All right, mate, I'm going to hand it over to you. Just want to have a quick chat about the India-Pakistan match. And
Absolutely.
I'll let you take it from there. I'm happy to do a little bit of an intro in terms of that
Yeah.
if you want to.
Well, before
For
we
seven,
go there,
seven.
Martin, thank you so much for having me. I think
That's all
let's
right.
start with a bit of a preface, really. This is the match that
Okay.
almost didn't happen. This is a
Yeah.
match that, let's put it this way, there was times where this match wasn't going to happen at the start. Then there was a
Yeah.
boycott. There was threat of boycott. Then that got pulled
Yeah.
off at the last minute. And then finally,
Yeah.
the match was back on. And if
Yes.
all the
Indeed.
diplomatic issues weren't the
Yes.
talking point, um, I think 24 to 48 hours before the match, then there was a lot of indication that the weather gods were going to intervene, and
Indeed.
and then right up until I'd say the eve of the match, there was a
Yeah.
lot of chatter. The internet was alight with weather reports floating around that. And look, it wasn't all just rumor mill. It wasn't all. There was substantiated reports to say that there was a bit of a downpour in Colombo. The
Yes.
Indian team arrived there, and in fact, their practice session sort of was a truncated practice session as well. They only arrived 48 hours before the game.
Mm.
The only practice session that they had was truncated. It had to be called off because of rain. So it was a match that was sort of that. It, it was yeah, put it this way, even before the match began, that there was a lot of drama. It's
Drama. Yeah.
right. But yeah,
That
and
was
fine.
it was interesting because there was talk that the rain was going to be an
Correct.
issue and everything else, and I didn't even think it was going to happen, and I thought it was going to be a
You and I, that
disaster.
makes the
But
two of us. Yeah.
yeah, but obviously the rain gods were smiling,
Hmm.
and
Stayed away. Look,
and
you and I, you're right. You and I probably were a little more skeptical, but the
yeah,
people that rocked up to the stands had
yeah,
no such doubts.
no,
For all intents and purposes, the pre-match
yeah,
drama fueled the environment, the ambience, if you like, in the ground. So it was a packed Premadasa Stadium. Who's
it was,
who in the theatre of the cricketing world was there. And if you wanted to
yeah,
add a bit from the political sphere as well, you had the ICC chair in Jay Shah, you had the PCB chair in Mohsin Naqvi, and then you had the Sri Lankan president himself was
yeah, yeah,
in
man.
full
It
view as
was,
well
it was,
among the
it
dig.
was. It's a complete cavalcade of celebrities and who is who in the cricketing world, wasn't it?
Correct, absolutely. Well, cricketing world and the political sphere as well.
Oh
But yeah,
yes, yeah,
and there's probably a few names in that you and I have missed. We're obviously watching
yeah,
this on the television, but
yeah,
yeah, it was a packed ground. But yeah,
indeed,
it was. And look, leading into the game, before we sort of dive into the score, look, the
yeah,
final result everyone knows. The spoiler alert for those that didn't know, India has beaten Pakistan again in a World
yeah,
Cup fixtures, which now takes the
yeah,
count tally to 8-1. But look, leading into the game, it was a bit, as is decided pre-match as well, it was a ground, well, I wouldn't say ground. Pakistan has been playing all their matches in Sri Lanka, so
yeah,
they've had some sort of they were sort of acclimatized to the conditions, if you like. This is their first
mm,
game at the Premadasa. They played all the
mm,
previous games at the SSC. This is India's first outing into Sri Lanka. They've played all their previous matches. The previous two games were played in India, so they've had to jump across the ditch. So you'd have to say, all things being equal, it was sort of level playing field. Normally,
I completely agree. I mean, well, can you really call it level? Well,
you
you
could,
could,
because no team can
because
boast of home
Pakistan was
advantage.
on. Sorry,
No team could boast of having the home advantage,
correct. No,
right?
so it was, and the fact that the Indian team had to, jump on a
Come on,
plane and go across the ditch was
with and
also
they barely finished the game 48 hours prior to that as
early.
well, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you know
Yeah. So
how.
look, go on. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, the previous edition of the T20 World Cup and the Champions Trophy, if there was any flack that the Indian team received was the fact that they got to choose their venues and they had to play in the one ground. At the end of the day, you can have all the cards stacked in your favor. You still need to execute, right? And I think that's
That is so true.
that's
That is so true.
at the end of the day, yeah, the proof is in the pudding. Simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Well, look, I mean, funny you mentioned, there's accusations of, India being favored and things like that.
Rightly or wrongly, right?
Rightly or wrongly, yes. But it is. I mean, at the end of the day, as a friend once said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has got one. You know, you
Spot
know,
on.
yeah, So, all right, let's get into the crux of it. Just
Cool.
to start off with, Pakistan won the toss, and they decided to put India. They decided to put India into bat, right?
Right.
And then,
Now, but one even before we go into that, Martin, I know I'm sort of holding you back because I really need to
yeah,
set the scene for this. Now, you and I
yeah,
grew up in an era where
yeah,
Pakistan back in the day was dominated by their seamers, right? The
yes,
likes of
yeah,
Imran Khan, Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, just to name a
yeah,
few, right? They
yeah,
a battery of fast bowlers, right? That was
indeed,
their forte, right? And India,
right,
pre, we didn't have back in the day. You wouldn't say that fast bowling was our trump card. We relied a lot more on
mm,
spin. Now Pakistan go into this game, fielding the lone pacer, the lone specialist pacer, and
mm,
four frontline spinners. They front loaded the attack with spin. Now, that is not something that we look. Having said that, Pakistan in the lead up to this game when they defeated Australia in the bilateral series, it was all spin heavy. They front loaded the attack with spin. So yeah, there's your first indication. And look, in Sri Lanka, you would say that's true. It is those games will be dominated by spin. So Pakistan Go announced their team with four frontline and four quality spinners. I'm not talking part
mm,
time. You've got some real good spinners.
mm,
Um, Now Pakistan's fought, and you and I discussed this before we jumped onto this call as well, and it was my opinion. I thought Pakistan, look, batting isn't their strength, isn't their forte. It's safe to say, and that's not being disrespectful. That's just calling a spade a spade. Their strength lies in the bowling. The games that they won previously, not just in the
mm,
T20 World Cup alone, is they set up a total that they can defend, and then the bowlers they strangle the opposition. That's how they
indeed,
whitewashed Australia as well. And look, the one game, although I wouldn't, let's say the most exciting game in this tournament for me was the Australia Zimbabwe game. Ironically, played at the same venue.
yeah,
And if you wanted to use that playbook as a bit of a template leading into this game, Australia, Australia opted to chase and they could not chase. Zimbabwe set a total, uh, and then Australia could not chase it. So you would say in that regard, just in that regard alone, that chasing is probably a little harder.
mm,
And Pakistan, all again, just being as diplomatic as possible, they're not renowned for their chasing skills,
no,
right? So Pakistan win the toss, and I'll be honest, it came as a surprise for me. They elected to bowl. Elected to
yeah,
bowl. Now, sorry,
that was a
Martin.
bit of a surprise.
It
That
was.
was a
It
bit of a
was. Especially the only reasoning I could think, there was nothing officially announced. The only thought process I had in my head was they thought, because the forecast didn't look great, that there was chances of showers. The fact that it stayed away was uh, completely fortuitous. But all I can think of is at that time they were worried about the rain and they thought, if they they fancy themselves chasing a target as opposed to having to set one when there'd be when there'd be all these impending stoppages in the game. It kills momentum.
I
It's probably
see.
easier.
Okay.
Again, hindsight is a wonderful thing. We're sitting in a position of privilege to say, at the time,
Indeed.
look, these guys are paid. They're way above our pay grade. They get paid to make these decisions. This is an informed decision. This is not the Captain Salman Ali Aga going there call. These things are decided well in advance. But
Hmm.
hook or crook, they chose to bowl first.
I
And
would you think,
sorry,
let me ask you this, mate. Let me ask you this. You would think that they would have a direct line to the Sri Lankan Weather Bureau, or whatever they call themselves, and say, mate, what does it look like for the next 4 hours? And they would have done all their computer and says, yeah, it's all good. Nothing is going to come. You know? Wouldn't
yeah,
you think that?
look, and you'd think they do that, but again, I think it comes back to that the opening statement we had at the start of this call, where you could have the best laid plans, but it comes down to execution.
Oh, yeah. No,
So
no.
I dare say they probably thought it. And look, for most parts, at least in that first innings, I thought they it looked like they stuck to their plan, right? They extracted turn. A couple of those balls spinning, they spun square. They were ragging surfaces.
Yeah,
If it
I agree.
weren't for, and look, they had the dream start. Let's be honest. In the first over, Abhishek Sharma, and I have to sort of come on this call before we did when we did the tournament preview. I had
Yeah,
said I had thought this would be a breakthrough tournament for Abhishek Sharma. I'm sitting here eating
yeah,
humble pie. He's had
you
two
are.
outings, both of them on ducks. So
Gosh,
he's yes,
he's
he is.
flat toss.
Oh,
Zero.
oh, mate, it is
Hey, the guy is
absolutely brilliant.
ducking. He is master ducker, man.
He is, yes. So,
He,
yeah, so that was a dream start, and they didn't open the bowling with Shaheen Shah Afridi. They opened
no,
the captain himself opened the bowling, who is at best of times
correct.
a part-time bowling.
Yeah.
So a dream start. Now at that point, being the supporter that I am, I thought, "Ooh, this is game on." And I thought the odds were in favor of Pakistan, but I
Look,
guess
I'll,
yes.
I'll tell you what. I honestly thought this was Pakistan's time to win.
Hmm.
You know, considering all the drama that was happening in the Indian team and all that, and you kept saying, man, this team is so strong. It's really hard. But I just thought to myself, turmoil is turmoil, and things can go south, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be also the other thing was that after their game against the USA, it wasn't convincing to me. I'll be honest. It was not
100%.
even the one. It wasn't a convincing win, right? So I thought to myself, this is really Pakistan's time, right? And then when
And
Abhishek Sharma went on the fourth ball or third ball or something like
first over, Martin.
that,
First over.
first over, he was Gonski's. I thought to myself, "Whoa, this is going to be interesting."
Yeah, game on.
And this was look, and it's a bit surprising. And one of the things I wanted to ask you was, I know there is the added pressure, Vinny, of the India-Pakistan game, and with that comes a lot of head games, right? And the pressure is enormous, and
Mind
there's
games. Yeah.
and mind games come into play. But more importantly, also is how do you handle this pressure? Because honestly, I think Pakistan really didn't play to their potential.
It was Pakistan's game to lose, Martin. Simple as that, right?
I agree.
They got they they're playing in a venue that they chose, right? Again, it wasn't forced. You could say in the 23 World Cup, they were forced to come to play in India where they had no support. This is a neutral venue that they chose. Sri Lanka, again, they would have had supporters in there. They don't have to worry about, the supporters not getting visas and anything of that sort, right? So Sri Lanka, for all intents and purposes, is a neutral ground. They had the odds, like you said. They had four frontline spinners, and you are spot on in the saying that the last two victories, India were caught out, especially against Namibia, where they were caught out. You could see that the game against spin was suspect.
It was. It was
It
suspect.
was.
Even more bizarre is, I'll be honest with you, even more bizarre was the fact that there's a role reversal here. As you said, you go back in time, and Pakistan rock up with pace bowlers,
They
right?
kill you with pace, right?
And Indians will rock up with
Spin.
spinners. And
On a
this
green
time
track, we
now,
would play a quartet of
the
spinners.
whole thing is reversed, and they've rocked up with spinners. We're rocked up with pace, and we're like, what's
It's
like?
it's it's bizarre. And
It
yet,
is bizarre,
just
really
add that as
bizarre.
well. In yesterday's game, look again. We're not going to go through it ball by ball because this is not a match report. But yeah, they bowled 18 overs of spin last night.
Yeah,
That is ridiculous. And
it is. It is. I mean, like, the funniest thing was that baseball. They did the baseball at the second over and the last over. That was it. The rest of it
look,
was spin.
again, I have the benefit of, well, we have the benefit of hindsight now. But when he
Yeah,
got the second over, I get it. You want to see if he can get any sort of movement with the new ball.
yeah,
That was a failed experiment. I do not know why, given the fact that they had four frontline spinners, why the
yeah.
last over was given to Shaheen Shah Afridi. The moment he did that, the moment that decision was taken, I sat there thinking, you've conceded an advantage here. I dare say if India had scored only 155, it was game on. And at one point, let's be honest, when Ishan Kishan was going guns blazing,
Yeah.
it looked like 200 was on the cards. But
Oh, yeah,
mind you,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
never,
absolutely.
that pitch was, look, tacky at best, and it required a superhuman effort from Ishan Kishan.
Oh,
He
look,
was the difference.
Ishan
He,
Kishan's batting was fucking superb.
Martin, we don't have to we don't have to be statisticians. Put it this way, Ishan Kishan on his own scored 77 runs. At
Yeah,
one point, when he got at the end of the power play, we were 87 for one. 77
yeah,
came off his bat alone. That's how
yeah.
dominant his performance was. And if you want to look at it another way to peel this cat, skin this cat rather, the margin of defeat, Pakistan ended up losing by 61 runs. Ishan Kishan scored 77 runs.
So,
That was
yeah,
it. He was the one batsman on both sides to stand up above the rest. No one else could deliver.
absolutely. 100%. 100%. You know what? 27 ball 50 he did on that pitch. 27 ball 50 and a 40 ball 77.
Martin, and
That guy
and
is a shame.
he, he batted smart. It wasn't slogging. And look,
No,
you, there
100%. Yeah,
was
great.
he did not dance down the track. He stayed rooted in his crease. He waited for the ball to turn and then played the gaps. Played He played brilliantly, brilliantly. To put things in perspective, Tilak Varma, he looked like a fish out of water. He scored 22. Martin, he had 11 dot balls in that. 11 dot balls in a T20 game. That's
That's two
two
overs, dude.
overs. That's 2 overs
2 overs.
that you've done nothing. That is,
Yeah,
to call
absolutely.
it criminal is sugarcoating it.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. 2 overs, nothing. That
But
basically 20. That's like saying, mate, you might as well, you know, yeah, it
that's
was awful.
it,
I'm
it's
swearing a
it's
lot today. Sorry, I shouldn't be swearing. Pardon the swearing, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be swearing. Yeah. Some
ineffective.
things you can't help yourself. You're just like in complete state of you're just so confused, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, after the match, it's 2020 hindsight, isn't it? Really?
It is. It is. And look, but again, when Rinku Singh was batting there, I just thought the captain Salman Ali Agha just bowled the one over and he got the wicket. I would have thought pace off is the way to go on this wicket, but he provided pace and Rinku Singh got those flurry of boundaries in the end that pushed India to
Mm.
175. Now the good thing I'll say, the smart thing that India did last night, as opposed to the previous two games, or when they got caught out against USA, was against USA, they went all guns blazing, thinking we need to outbat the opposition. We need to score 200 plus on this. The
Hmm.
smart thing they did here was they decided, okay, 200 is not the way to go. Let's aim for say 160, anything on top of that is gravy. They kept reassessing. So what they did smart there, especially when Tilak Varma's struggling. Tilak Varma struggled, but Surya Kumar Yadav played a mature innings where he rotated the strike. Yes, he didn't get the big hits, but he made sure the dot ball percentage was less. Just made sure the singles and doubles were ticking over. And I think that's what they did. Which also you could question towards the end, they ran out of steam because there were a lot of batting power in there that didn't get used up.
100%.
So,
Completely agree. Yeah.
It's
So my question to you, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the captain Aga bowled the started off right. He got a wicket, and that was the end. He didn't bowl again, right? He then brought Ayub.
Yeah.
Right, and
so
he did one over,
game.
and that was the end of that.
No, Ayub had he bowled his full quarter of 4 overs.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah,
you're right.
Now, Ayub, he bowled his full quarter. If anything, you could question. Usman Tariq had a great game as well. He bowled after all the pre-match hype. He sort of lived up to his hype as well. In 4 overs, he gave only 24. You could argue he could have brought him on earlier, but look, all said and done, and look, we're not going to discuss tactics because at the end of the day, it's happened. We'll be talking retrospectively.
Yeah.
I think what we need to now discuss is we'll do a quick wrap of the match.
Let's do a quick wrap. All right.
Yeah.
So India went into bat, made 175. 7 people were out, 20 overs. Kishan, you're gone.
Yeah. So basically, out of that 175, one person scored 77. The rest, 6 batsmen scored 100 runs between them. That's
correct.
A tale. That's a tale of
that's it.
That's a tale of two halves, basically, right?
That is the tale of two halves. Correct.
Right. Going into the break, I would say if I was the Pakistani team, I would feel confident.
Yeah.
I would still, because at the end of the day, they haven't been outbatted. It's still not 9 runs per over. It's within that 8.5 in T20 per over. In T20 terms, that's manageable. Basically, it's just 2 boundary hits.
That's a par score.
It is a par score. Look, you could.
I don't know. Probably not on that wicket, but it's technically.
It's not.
It's a par score. 8 times 20 is 160.
It's put it this way, Martin. The way you look at it, the way T20 batting you break these totals down is basically that's 2 boundary hits and the rest is gravy. You just need to hit 2 balls to the boundary and that's it. You're in the game.
Yeah.
Right. And you back yourself in T20 to score 10 runs per over in the last 2 or 3 overs. Any day of the week. That's how this game is built, right? So you'd say, and the likes of Babar, and this is a tacky surface, so you don't need the big hits. You need to rotate strike. But if you rotate your strike, if you get 4 doubles in an over, you're already on your. It's percentage cricket, right?
It is completely.
So Pakistan feels confident going in. India will probably go in saying we've got the totals. Now, again, India's got the bowling to defend. This is not something we've decided. But credit where credit's due. You would think, especially with the way Pakistan's open, and this is where the mindset and the strategies come in, Martin. So this is where, as much as we've given flack to Gautam Gambhir as a coach, I've always maintained his coaching credentials in red ball cricket and ODI cricket are questionable, to say the least. T20 is his cup of tea. This works. He stacks.
You know what? I don't know. Look, I tell you what. His ego is already bad enough, and I can't really. There's not a way. You won't catch me dead trying to inflate his ego.
Is he the greatest coach ever? No. All I'm saying is, as a coach, the T20 format suits him better because of the weird permutations and combinations, the chop and change.
Yeah.
The problem is he's tried to copy paste that into a test arena, and the results are there for everyone to see, right? You need specialists in there.
Yeah.
But we opened the bowling with Hardik Pandya, and straight away he's bowling good wheels. This man is clocking up early 140s, and he's getting movement. And then he picks up Saib Zada Farhan in the first over. they've opened. Pakistan gets their first wicket of spin. India bowls their first. They get their first wicket of pace. What does
Pace, yeah,
India then do differently? And this is reading of conditions, and this is where the expertise comes in, Martin. Credit where
yeah,
credit's
yeah, yeah,
due. Jasprit Bumrah comes in, and his first over,
yeah,
boom, boom, picks up 2 wickets, and they're 13 for 3 before they even know it. India
yeah,
bowls 4 overs on the trot of pace,
yeah,
and by then they'd killed off the chase. And from
yeah.
there
So
on,
basically, I think the first one was Farhan, is it?
yeah,
You know,
Sahib Zada Farhan, yes, yep.
and then Salman Ali Agha also went out, and
Saim
then
Ayub,
sorry, who? Oh, sorry,
Saim Ayub, and
Saim
look,
Ayub,
it's yeah, and then
and then anyway, somewhere along the
and
line, around the fifth over was when Babar Hassan was on.
well, so they bowled 4 overs of pace on the trot, 2 from Bumrah,
Yeah,
2 from Hardik Pandya, and then they
yeah,
get Aksar. Aksar comes in, he takes the keeper, the Pakistani keeper, Usman Khan, launches into him a bit. Aksar takes a bit
yeah,
of tap, but Martin, Aksar just bowls a ball. I wouldn't say it was a magic ball. I dare say the Pakistani spinners got a lot more turn in their first innings when they were bowling. But these guys just bowled tight, wicket to wicket, vary their pace. Babar
yeah.
Azam, God knows what he was thinking. He
Uh,
tried to hit a six. That is not his game. That is not his game. He's not a power hitter at the best of times.
yeah.
And then before they know it, they're 4 for spit,
They,
basically,
they are four for, the sixth over, they are 38 for four,
in a
more or less,
chase
I think.
of in a chase
Yeah.
of 175,
It gets,
right?
it gets, it gets a bit hard,
It
isn't it,
gets
after
harder,
that?
and all they do is just dig themselves into a hole further. And we haven't even introduced the
Yeah.
spinners by then.
The question is, okay, do you think, this is my question to you, do you think they get completely overwhelmed by the
Let's.
expectation that it completely stuffs up the, because I think,
That's a great
honestly,
question.
if they're taken off if they've said it is not India and something else, they would have played a different kind of game.
There
But for
is.
some reason, they seem to have this mental block, and
Mm,
everything goes completely tits up
yeah.
when they play India, and it's completely like they struggle to even get momentum running going.
Oh, let's discuss that. So we'll wrap this up in the next couple of seconds, really. We'll wrap up the match and then we'll discuss it because that's a real great point you raised, Martin. And anyway, long story short, before you know it, the
Yeah,
spinners come in tandem. Pakistan
yeah,
are 97 for 8, then becomes 97
yeah,
for 9.
yeah,
India doesn't even bowl Bumrah after that. If I were the captain, I would have gotten Bumrah on to bowl and finish the game. Like they could have, the margin of defeat could have been a lot more. What does India do? They try, they get the other batsmen to roll their arm. You get Rinku Singh bowling in a couple of overs. You got Tilak Verma bowling in a couple of overs. It's almost like bowling
me
practice
and
at this
you had a
stage.
conversation about this, and it's like, I mean, kind of inform the viewers what our thought process was in that. Why do you think it?
My thought process was that it made no cricketing sense. You would have got Bumrah
Yeah,
in there. You've got a genuine
100%.
tail ender.
I 300%
What do you
agree
say
with
when
you
you
there.
go? My reasoning at that time is, and this is me with my tinfoil hat, I'm just thinking it's again a ploy. This game is killed. Let's stretch this game out as much as possible. Get the broadcasters to get their advertisements in to
Yeah,
the last down second until Pakistan gets out. Stretch the
yeah,
game on, you know,
as much
whip
as
the proverbial dead horse.
yeah, yeah. Look, and I wouldn't put it past I wouldn't put it past them to do it
Yeah,
simply because I looked at it and they said this game is over.
this game is over.
So
This
now
this
we
game's
can't
dead.
kill them. We can't
No,
kill them off. So let's try
let's
and stretch
just
so that people can
let's
make some money
delay
out of
the
it.
inevitable.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And so they can get some more out of it.
I
Because
I still sorry, yeah.
because at the end of the day, if they wanted to play the game as ruthless as the Australians do, where they just kill off the opposition, mate,
It's a
one
no-brainer. What are you saving Bumrah's 2 overs for?
one would have happened is there would have been the broadcasters would have been pretty cross saying, geez, you should have stretched this a little bit. We could have made some more money,
There's
you know?
again, we'll have to say, this is unsubstantiated claims, but you and
Yeah, it
I,
is.
yeah, we aren't. Put it this way, we're not conspiracy theorists. We may
No.
sound like one. I think we've seen this game enough, and the last few weeks have given us enough sort of fodder to come up with theories. But look, viewers, feel free to comment. It just seemed like that. At the end of the day,
It
it was just sort of
does.
delaying the inevitable. But look, long story short, Pakistan get wrapped up for 113. It's a 61-run victory. In the grand scheme of things, Martin, for all the hype, this was a dead rubber in theory. Uh, this match has no consequence. India has made it to Super 8s. Pakistan has one more game in their kitty against Namibia, which you would look common sense. I say common sense with a grain of salt. Pakistan theoretically should win. Stranger things have happened, but that's where it's at. Right. So that's the
So, I
wrap up.
mean,
India, it's another victory for India. For all the hype, as we discussed previously in the previous episode, for all the pre-match hype, the match itself, the quality of the match is piss poor, to be said. The Zimbabwe Australia match had more. It's this sort of my crude analogy here is just like opening a can of Coke. You get the first initial fizz, and then it just goes flat.
it was, it
30
was
seconds later.
completely, it was done. By the sixth over, you knew the game was over.
Yeah.
By the sixth over, there were 4 down for 38. You knew the game was over. Done and dusted. There was nothing. They couldn't revive this horse. And and the whole thing was over by the 18th. And they tried stretching it. And they tried stretching it, just to give them some, whatever they wanted to do. But you knew pretty well that the game was done and dusted.
Yeah.
That's so
cool. Now let's talk. It was a no contest
again, circling back, Mike, circling back. I want you to kind of put your your actual proper hat and tell me, because I feel like every time India faces Pakistan, India goes to a different level, right? Or let me put it this way: probably India doesn't go to any level, but the problem is Pakistan they go into this, what's it called, the mindset where they're a siege mindset would probably be the better way to put it.
Yes, that's
siege mindset, and it becomes so rather than playing a tactical game, they allow the emotions to come into it, and it's a complete utter disaster. And you just think they can do better than this, and sometimes you just kind of think, man, come on, play a better game. But they just and because it's so bad, you think that the Indian team is performing at superhuman. I think it's not that. I just think. Yeah, go on. Sorry, man.
No. I was going to say I agree with everything. It's not like they're less talented. I dare say the Pakistan team, they're probably talented man for man, to be honest.
I agree.
They were spinners. They had 4. We had only 3 frontline spinners, Martin. Like I said, they're front loaded with spinners so they got their tactics right. They got their pre-match planning right. It's the execution. Now I'll come back to one thing, and again, benefit of hindsight. I've had some time to think about it. I've read a few articles. You're spot on. Pakistan, when it comes to, especially in recent times, I think India wins it on nerves. When Kohli played that amazing knock at the MCG in 2021, that game was dominated by Pakistan for 90% of the game.
It was.
Right? Those last 2 overs, Kohli held his nerve, Pakistan lost. They bowled those 2 wides, they lost the game. Again, in the Champions Trophy, India won by 11 runs in the end, right? The margin of defeat was so small. Again, Tilak Verma held his nerve. Sorry, not the Champions Trophy, the Asia Cup.
The Asia Cup.
Tilak Verma holds his nerve, wins the game. And you're right. Look, again, commentators, viewers, please, the way I look at it, Martin, I try to read a lot of these TED Talks and stuff. I think it's a mindset thing. I think Pakistan is so hell-bent on defeating India. They, in the process, forget how to win. Does that Make sense?
Yeah,
It's
I think
very
a big.
hard to quantify, but you're so focused on the opposition because you've been at the receiving end for so long. You just we need to beat them, and the only way I can pull this off is because they try to hit these glory shots. They want to hit every ball for a six. They want to make a statement when the objective should be to win the game. It doesn't matter if you win ugly.
So my question to you then is this a problem with the captain, where the
Uh,
captain should have just, rather than getting carried away, and I understand, look, I get it. It's a very emotional game, especially when you're playing the India Pakistan. It's exceptionally emotional, and you're on the receiving end of continuous defeats. That you're thinking, right, and we need to win at any cost. But the problem is, the more important question to ask is, did Aga allow his emotions to get the better of him, or I mean, like, they can play better than this. This was a nonsensical game.
100%. Look, it's more than that, Martin. I you can't blame it on Naga. This is a game that is, there's a massive backroom staff, there's a massive coaching staff. These things are decided well in advance. I don't think it'd be harsh to blame it just on the captain. They've lost under previous captaincies as well. So,
No,
and I
no,
can,
okay. Let me reframe that, if you don't mind. If they had a captain that was calculating and strategic, and knew how to hold the reins and keep it steady, I reckon they can easily win.
Look, Mark, put it this way. Look, India, when we grew up, Pakistan was constantly a dominant team, right?
So,
And the roles were reversed. You would dare say back then India didn't have the winning mindset. So
nah,
it's hard
no, we
it's
did not.
hard to blame it on the captain.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I
How
would
do you get out of this siege mentality?
look, it's that is something that they'll have to work on. It's easy for us to say and do about it. It's like I said, it comes down to execution. You have the best laid plans, but it's just about calming your nerves. That's something that the coach has to facilitate. It's not just the captain. That comes with the board going the way they did, the decisions they took. It doesn't help in their favor either, right? So
You mean the
that's all.
uncertainty?
The uncertain, well, not just the uncertainty, the fact that they're holding this game to ransom and this and that. There's already bad press with the team to begin with. So
Yeah.
these players are under immense pressure. That's not to say the Indian team. I dare say, look, going into this game, India probably had more to lose than Pakistan, right? But they just held their nerve. And winning is a habit, right? Winning is purely a habit. We've talked about this as well. It's not like we're mind coaches here, but when you get into that rhythm, it doesn't matter who's in front of you. This is a team that
Indeed.
is brimming with confidence, and the confidence shows. For them, it doesn't matter who the opposition is. Now, look, that's not to say Indian team will win, right? The Indian team
No.
will have its moments. Look at how Australia lost to Zimbabwe. It
Indeed.
just comes down to executing your plans of that day and just believing in yourself and not going for those glory hits. The shot that Babar Azam hit just got out to rather says everything you need to know about that. That was a team that was trying to hit their way out of trouble, as opposed to had they took that game deep, I dare say India would have been on the back foot. They only had 3 frontline spinners,
Mm.
right?
Interesting. I mean, all right. So let's look at it this way. Pakistan is supposed to play Namibia.
Yeah.
Pakistan is on 4 points. USA is on 4 points. Net run rate in the negative 0.4. And USA is, they've played their full complement of games, and they are on positive 0.7. So once they play Namibia, if they beat Namibia, obviously then it's India and Pakistan, right? Into the next Super 8. So is that what they call it? Super 8s, right?
Super 8s, yeah.
Yeah. And basically then there's another bit at the game again where India might more than likely play Pakistan.
Yeah, that depends on how the tournament fades. But look, let's not go that far ahead.
Yeah.
Again, this Indian team, could have players lose form collectively, right? So there's no point looking far ahead. The fact of the matter is, look, there's other permutations they can go through. They could all come there, and then on one fine day, they could have all their ducks lined up. I think what we need to look at it is, just to wrap up this episode, I think is the one way is, look, for all this hype, is this still a viable product, the India-Pakistan fixture?
It is.
And that's my point as well. You and I,
look, unfortunately, the game is not great.
The game is not great for you and I, Martin. Look, for the purists, it isn't a great matchup. It isn't.
No.
It's always failed to deceive. It's flattered to deceive. But what exists here is the geopolitics. As long as geopolitics exists between India and Pakistan, this game will always be hyped up. It will be hyped up 10 times. It will be a game on steroids. It will still sell out. What is left to be seen is, and this is just a discussion you and I had, I think what Pakistan did, the pre-match shenanigans, pre-tournament shenanigans rather,
Indeed.
They had the one card and they've shown their hand. I dare say they've got no other bargaining chips now. What will be interesting to see is moving forward, how the broadcasters go about this. Previously, what's indicated is the ICC has pretty much evaluated a match and said, this is what we think the match is worth, and this is how much money you can get of revenue you can generate of advertising space. I think now the broadcasters will be a little more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Skittish.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely, right? Street smarts, whatever, they'll be a little more, they'll be like, no, they'll put more ironclad. They do not want to be in this position again, right? 3 days out from a game where they're not even sure if the match will go ahead.
Oh, look, actually, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, man. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to think this is like a Bollywood movie. It's like come to the last minute kind of a thing, and then it's like the interest is right through the roof, right? So all of a sudden, a 10-second slot that was probably going for whatever, X, will go for X plus whatever it is now, simply because there's that much hype and everyone's watching it.
Market manipulation.
Manipulation, right? So I think, my gut feeling says this, right? I said in one of my previous episodes, I said, I don't know whether Greece will help. Okay, well, I was wrong. I was completely wrong, right? Greece helps. So my gut feeling says, if the Greece helps, this game is going to go ahead again. They're going to do this.
It will go ahead.
There's going to be more of this shenanigan bullshit. And it will just mean that more and more people will get upset. There'll be more anchors talking about it. Everyone will carry on like pork chop. But at the end of the day, as the game is approaching, the moment, you'll see everyone buying the ticket and flying wherever they need to fly. I mean, look at the game that they played here in MCG, India, Pakistan. It was packed to the rafters, right? It was packed to the rafters. And there was so...
It wasn't even a home game.
It
wasn't even a home game. Look, Martin, I'm with you on this. And I say it begrudgingly as well. The reality is, Martin, India brings the market. As long as Pakistan is there, Pakistan brings the rivalry, and the broadcasters bring the liquidity required for the game.
Oh,
right?
I guess the holy. I guess we can call it the Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity, absolutely. So I wouldn't. Look, at some point, this script will run old. People. The reality is, and I think you're spot on. I think these things will happen. There'll be enough. I won't say there will be enough drama to make sure that an India-Pakistan fixture will be the blockbuster the crown jewel, if you like, of a world tournament.
Money wise, okay.
It is.
It's
It
sport
is.
wise,
It is. All I think
money
is the
wise,
broadcasters. Yeah.
like right now. So this game, they're going to play again. There'll be another round. Again, there will be people, training the next to go in and buy tickets and do everything you want. And the fact of the matter is, again, you'll see a cavalcade of celebrities and the who's who of everything under the sun
Correct.
being
Yeah.
there. And so at
All
the
I
end of
can.
the day,
Yeah.
go on. Sorry, mate.
I was gonna say. No, I'll let you finish.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, this brings in the celebrities. It brings in the masala. It brings in everything you want for a game, except that the game itself is not exactly great. But everything else outside the game is just
It is.
razzmatazz.
And this game is a drug. I'll be the first one to put my hand up. I had
it
no
is.
business watching this game. Look, for us in Australia, the match begins at midnight, 12:30,
Indeed.
past midnight,
Indeed,
right? If I
yes.
was Cinderella, my dreams were crushing. But I had no plans whatsoever. I happened to wake up at that time. I happened to check my phone. I happened to see Abhishek Sharma get out. And I was like, oh, let me see how this game's going. And next thing you know, I was sitting there till like 10 to 4 in the morning on a school night, on a Monday morning. I've got the busiest day. I've got a 9 a.m. I've got to go into work. I've got a 9 a.m. meeting. I've got to drop the kids off to school. But it is a drug. I just got caught up in the hype as well. Again, like you said, Martin, halfway through, not even halfway, 6 overs into the second innings, this was a dead game. But I still stayed up to see how this would pan out. It's a drug that I can't get enough of.
You're an absolute tragic for cricket, dude. And
tragic, sucker, call it.
And a complete sucker for it. So on that lovely note, we're going to close this off. Thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to our viewers and our subscribers. Thank you very much for coming and viewing the content. Managed to bring the great man on again. We'll be coming back, as the game progresses now, as the World Cup progresses.
Towards the business end.
But I just want to say a big thank you. And those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. Those of you who have not subscribed, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. And on that absolutely lovely note, we're going to say goodbye. But the final word, I will hand over to Vinny to give us the final word.
Oh, Martin, always a pleasure being part of the Borders and Beyond channel. Like I said, we will. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for all your likes and subscribes. It sort of gives us that's the motivation we like as well. So we will come back to you over the next couple of weeks when we have more sort of games to wrap up. But yeah, thank you for being there and thank you for having me, Martin.
Not a worry, man. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Goodbye.